Welcome to r/legal advice, where OP gets viciously attacked by a dog and then gets sued by the dog's owner. Our next Reddit post is from Free Run Lady. My neighbor's off-leash dog attacked and injured my dog, my sister, and myself. Now, my neighbor is trying to sue me when we're the ones with $29,000 in medical bills. We live in Raleigh, North Carolina, where there are strict leash laws. Our new neighbors moved in next door about 6 months ago and have 2 large Labradors who are let out the back door into the open yards each day and night. One of their dogs is very sweet and well-behaved, while the other is rather aggressive and will charge at people and other dogs. We've asked them multiple times to walk their dogs on leashes and explained about the city leash laws of our state and county, but they refuse to keep them on leashes. 2 months ago, one of their labs charged at myself and my small beagle from across the yard, and the dog's owner just sat there and watched as I tried to fight off her dog while picking up my beagle. The dog bit my arm enough to draw blood, and I kicked her dog to get it to stop and back off from its attack. The owner went into a rage over me kicking her dog, and the next day filed a complaint against me with our HOA. That backfired because the HOA contacted me for my side of the story and ended up charging the neighbor a $250 violation of HOA agreement fee. I didn't file an animal control report because my bite wasn't that bad, and I thought the HOA fine would set the neighbor straight. Also, it's not the dog's fault that her owner is an idiot. They continue to let their dogs run free, and we have multiple videos of them letting their dogs run free, and of the aggressive dog running onto our porch and throwing her body against our glass door trying to get at our dogs inside of our house. Last month, I confronted our neighbor with the multiple videos and told her she needed to walk them on leashes. And we were no longer willing to be afraid to use our back porch or walk our dogs anymore, and told her this was the last time we'd be nicely asking her, and next time we'd call animal control. Fast forward to 6 days ago, when I woke up to the sound of one of my dogs, for lack of a better term, screaming. I jumped out of bed and ran to the yard where my sister and one of my beagles was being attacked by the neighbor's dog. My sister had curled around our dog and was being repeatedly bitten by the neighbor's dog. I tackled the neighbor's dog, and I'm not proud to say this as a lifelong animal lover, proceeded to grab the dog by her neck and force her to the ground by the neck and shove her head into the ground while practically sitting on the dog to control her. The neighbor finally got her dog inside. The results were that my dog had a huge chunk ripped out of her throat, multiple rips in both ears, 6 broken teeth on her bottom jaw, a shattered front paw and broken arm, and multiple bites to her face and ribcage. My dog needed all broken teeth removed, pins in her arm and paw, dozens of stitches, and a skin graft to close the hole in her neck. My sister needed 38 stitches from the bite she received, and I ended up with 29 stitches from bites that I received. And all 3 of us are on a plethora of antibiotics and follow-up care, including rabies shots for my sister and I because her dog has no current shots. Those shots are not pleasant in any way. Our combined medical and vet bills are $29,000, with still needing follow-up visits for all of us over the next few months. The neighbor's refusing to pay anything at all and claims she's not at fault because our yard isn't fenced. She's also claiming she's going to sue us because apparently I broke 2 of her dog's ribs when I tackled her to the ground. I cleared out my savings amount of $3,500 to make the basic payments to save my dog's life, and I don't have any more money to hire a lawyer. We can hardly afford the copays on our insurance to get our rabies treatments and prescriptions filled. I filed to get an advance on my pay, but it can take up to 2 weeks to go through, and I was served with a court summons today for injuries to her dog and her pain and suffering from the trauma of her hurt pet. The claim also states that I intentionally caused harm to her pet and used unnecessary force to subdue her pet. I'm a 4'10" female and my sister is 4'8". The neighbor's dog is almost as big as I am. I really don't know where to start on how to deal with this. I feel like we have a solid case due to the videos and the paperwork from the HOA for the first time she tried to blame us. I also have messages that span her time as our neighbor via the Nextdoor app, where she admits to walking her pets off leash and her refusal to stop because it's her house. How in the world can I fight this when I'm not able to pay a lawyer's fee up front? Then OP posted a very long update, which is a bit dry, so I'll summarize it to say that she went to the cops and she's gathering evidence. Also, I'll read this part because this part is interesting. We messaged most of the neighbors on our row, and a few of them have had bad experiences and are willing to write statements. The kicker is the family directly behind us has a teenage son who took a video on his phone of the attack. The neighbor dog had tried to attack her son's cat while he was on the back porch once, and her son heard the yelling and whipped out his phone. I haven't seen it yet, but his mother said they'll gladly turn it over to our lawyer and write statements. Then OP posted another update. My sister and I spent the weekend after I posted researching local lawyers that were suggested by our insurance, and we found 3 we wanted to contact. The guy we went with is amazing and more vicious than our neighbor's dog. He's also willing to take payment after the judgment or settlement, and he offered a lower percentage for his services than what's the norm. Turns out, his son had been attacked by an off-leash dog once, and he feels very strongly that irresponsible dog owners understand the repercussions of their actions, and that the neighbor is a threat and this needs to be handled quickly. The neighbor's mean dog has been put down. She was deemed uncontrollable and not able to be rehabilitated. We've seen the nice dog over the last few days with the roommate, so she must have paid the fine to get her back. Our lawyer responded to the neighbor's case against me and confirmed that we'd be meeting them in small claims courts. The neighbor was also served with 2 separate lawsuits. One from myself with my medical costs, including estimated long-term cost, rehab cost, lost work and vacation days, pain and suffering, and destruction of property. And then one for my sister, including estimated long-term medical cost, lost work vacation days, property damage, which is our dog, and pain and suffering. After the neighbor was served with our lawsuits, she apparently desperately tried dropping the case against me, but the prosecutor denied her request. I didn't know they could do that. She then tried contacting our lawyer multiple times to ask him to get the prosecutor to drop the case. Our lawyer informed her that this wasn't something that he had control of, and we'd still be moving forward with the 2 lawsuits against her. She finally got herself a lawyer, and our lawyer was contacted with settlement offers that, in his terms, were laughable, and we refused the settlement offers. Our lawyer used past cases of dog attacks in North Carolina where settlements of over $800,000 were paid out, and that involved cases where the dog's owner actually tried to stop the attack. Now for some extra facts. My left wrist is going to need surgery. Our dog's skin graft is healing up nicely, but she's still in a cast with pins in her paw. The vet thinks that she'll have a limp, but will recover with no long-lasting injuries. She still refuses to go out the back door anymore, and will cry and plant if we try. Also, the destruction of property in my claim comes from the cameras that my boyfriend installed. The day after my neighbor's dog was put down, the neighbor literally took a baseball bat to everything in our front and backyard. This lady's crazy. She broke our porch railing, smashed all our power flots, bent my hammock's metal base, and used some kind of utility knife to slice up the hammock. Tore the plants out of the ground in our garden, including pulling up imported maple trees. Tree law. Dumped some sort of substance that had a jelly-like consistency into our koi pond, killing all the fish. And broke various other things in our yard. She straight up went on a rampage that was all caught on the cameras. She also left 2 notes on our door, one threatening to shoot our dogs, and another that she'd have someone beat us up. We called the cops immediately, and they took it seriously. They asked if we wanted to press charges, and we did. Our lawyer used the notes and camera footage to get an emergency protection order for us, and we haven't so much as seen her since, though we've seen her car come and go. The video of the attack that the other neighbor's son took was a pure godsend. It shows how the neighbor just sat there and did nothing to try to stop the attack. It also shows her audibly laughing during it. She only started trying to help when I started smashing her dog into the ground. We also got statements from multiple neighbors, and our lawyer is working on getting the multiple complaints from other families from the HOA. I honestly can't tell if this lady had some sort of mental breakdown or is just plain crazy. Either way, my sister and I both have our separate court dates against her in mid and end March. OP never posted an update, so we can only guess as to how this turned out, but based on all the evidence that OP and the lawyer has, this has to be a slam dunk case. This lady straight up belongs in jail. She sounds like a psychopath. Our next Reddit post is from Where's My Fair Share? I'm a key witness in a civil case that will result in a large payout. I feel that I'm owed a cut of the money. What can I do to receive this? There's a civil case that I've been called to testify in. I won't state the details, but I'm one of, if not the key witness in this case. I was there preceding, during, and following the actions taken. The offending party most definitely did what he was accused of. The only problem is that the evidence so far has been hearsay at best, and by my calculations, I'm the tipping point for this case. Because of this, I feel that I deserve a fair sum of money. If won, this case would pay out a large sum of money to the individual who initiated it. Much more than I plan to make in the next 20 years. Because of this, and my importance to the case, I deserve a cut. Nothing unreasonable, but I place my value at around 5% of the total payout. I have an email ready with these demands and my value to the case written up, and I'll be sending it tonight. My plan is, if they refuse, I'll simply state, I do not recall, to every question asked of me, losing her and her lawyer the case. My main question is, how should I go about receiving fair compensation? I don't plan to include what I'll do if not compensated, but what would happen if I did? If they refuse to compensate me, what are my options if I still do help win this case? What kind of lawyer should I look into to help me? Thank you. The moderators locked this thread down pretty quickly, but the top post is, you're basically planning extortion with the threat of perjury. Do we need to explain to you why this is a bad idea? Our next Reddit post is from Rose. My husband was recently accused of sexual abuse by our young adult daughter. She graduated from college a short while ago and is now living with friends out of state. She told me, and I immediately told my husband. I'm horrified, and I don't know how she could say such a thing, and so is my husband. To my knowledge, she hasn't told any authorities, but is there any way I can prevent her from doing so if she wants to? Can I preemptively warn them? She's completely fine, not traumatized at all. She was troubled as a teenager, cutting, but she's been over that for years. I absolutely know my husband would never do that, and I don't know why she would suddenly lie about something like this. Any input is welcome. Thank you. I went to the comments looking for this post. Someone says, why is it that you don't believe your daughter? And OP says, it just makes no sense for it to be true. Her daughter worked so hard to support her, and I know he loves her. He helped put her through college. He always bought her the most thoughtful gifts. He let her have a cat even though he doesn't like them. Why would she say something like this now? Isn't it actually super common for abusers to shower their victims with gifts? What a terrible mother, and a terrible father for that matter. That was r/legal advice, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.